According to ongoing investigations with public and private denominations within churches, there is an arising amount of evidence regarding scholarly journals, peer reviews, and sexual misconduct and molestation liability in church congregations in regards to claims that include legal defense, potential settlements, judgments from alleged sexual misconduct and abuse, i.e. religious abuse, and emotional damage caused by abuse within churches. Whether it's sexual, emotional, or spiritual, there's a wide range of devastating impact on individuals and communities and the institution of the church itself. The impact on individuals includes psychological trauma. Victims often suffer from anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and other long-term mental health issues. There's a loss of faith and spiritual distress across the board. Abuse can shatter a victim's relationship with the church ongoing and with God, leading to a crisis of faith within families, leaving deep spiritual wounds, damaged relationships where trust is eroded, leading to difficulties forming healthy relationships later in life, or re-engaging with religious communities. The feelings of shame and guilt are vast. Victims may internalize the abuse and experience profound shame and self-blame, which can ultimately lead to self-harm. The impact on communities is telling. There's an erosion of trust. Abuse scandals can arise out of nowhere and can cause severe damage to a church's reputation, eroding trust within the congregation and the wider community. There might be church divisions and conflict within the members of the organization. And the aftermath of abuse can lead to divisions within the church as members struggle to understand and process the events, if they ever do. Most oftentimes, people sweep it under the rug and they ignore the issue until one of the victims comes forward, and sometimes that happens later in life. And then the narcissism and the finger pointing start because a person waits sometimes decades to bring up the fact that they were abused. Then there's the decreased church membership attendance or church membership, where individuals may leave the church and disengage from the congregation because of unresolved issues and lack of trust. The impact on the church institution can be legal and financial, which there are churches that carry sexual misconduct or molestation liability insurance, which helps church organizations cover legal defense or political or potential backlash, such as settlements and judgments from alleged sexual misconduct. Then there are the lawsuits which put a strain on church resources, the loss of credibility and authority within the church. And the church, the moral authority, is questioned and the credibility is undermined when abuse is exposed or covered up for a long period of time. Which comes to the fact that there is need for institutional reform within churches because these toxic cycles need to be confronted. The need for institutional reform in churches must be confronted because there's a systemic issue that enables abuse, therefore stymieing preventative measures. It means that predators are not held accountable and their backgrounds are not transparent in these organizations. They just slip in undetected and they harm individuals. And the spiritual harm has a distinct consequence. In the context of clergy sexual abuse, the term spiritual harm is increasingly being used in organizations to point the finger in a specific way. When there's a distinct harm to a person's spirituality and their relationship with God, their faith and community and their sense of self, when it's questioned, these congregations most oftentimes do not have measures in place to protect individuals in these congregations. It's so important to address abuse when it happens. Parents, teachers, and congregants that are underage individuals in the churches have a responsibility to acknowledge the harm caused by abuse, as well as the pastors, the preachers, the teachers, and the prophets. When they ignore these things that are happening in congregations, victims suffer overall, especially when there are no safeguards to prevent future abuse. When they say, I don't want to hear about it, that could not happen. This person's been a member of our church for 40 years. They would never do that. And come to find out, they are a predator. It's very scary in today's world. But addressing abuse creates a culture of healing and safety, and it's essential for the well-being of individuals and breaking toxic cycles, as well as the long-term health of the church, i.e. the congregation.